What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to another video. Today we will be continuing with our 300 Reddit questions series. And surprisingly, today is going to be the last part of the series. I hope you enjoyed watching the series as much as I have actually enjoyed making it. And yeah, if you did, please make sure to hit the like button below, subscribe, turn on notifications. Also, comment below what do you want to see me make next. And follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Links will be in the description and the pinned comment below. Without further ado, let's get into this video. So what immediately makes you think highly of someone? To me, someone who is high in their social status is basically someone who doesn't speak much, someone who doesn't want to like say whatever doesn't need to be said, someone who doesn't feel like qualifying himself to a group of people. Because these kind of people, the less they say, the more important what they say usually turns out to be, which makes them super exciting and mysterious to a lot of people, and majority of the people will think that they are attractive. And I'm also one of them. So yeah, there you go. Someone that I think I love is someone who doesn't speak much. Who could you listen to for hours? It can be someone you know or someone you don't. Yeah, that's an interesting one. Super easy. Basically, I would follow someone who I think his voice is soothing and he says something which may or may not be super important, at least to the public. Could be super important on the long term, but in the short term, maybe it doesn't matter much. But if there is one person that I would really love to listen to, it's a YouTube channel called Aperture. The guy's voice is super soothing, and I think majority of his comment section thinks of it. No homo here, all right, no homosexuality, but I really enjoy the way that he brings the information, the ideas that he communicates, what he's trying to tell others, and the open-mindedness that he has. This is just something which is incredibly rare nowadays. As a result of all of that, I actually enjoy his content and I would listen to him for a very long time, even if it lasts 4 hours, I genuinely don't mind. What social custom do you wish would end and why? Social custom that I wish would end? Yeah, that's my housemate out there. Social custom I wish would end would basically be something that says that, hey, you have to go to university, you have to go to college, you need to succeed this way or that way, you have to be like the rest of us, otherwise you're not going to be able to succeed. Basically, people trying to hardwire, especially the brand new generation, they're hardwired that you need to do this and that so that you can succeed. When in reality, there is a whole lot more opportunities and so many open doors nowadays. It's actually mind blowing to think about it. And as a result of that, I would say that I really wish that people telling you what to do and how you need to do it and why you should be like everyone else would end. Because trust me, when I say this, nowadays you have many more options than you think you ever had over your whole lifetime. This goes to the elderly people, especially. If a biopic were made of your life, which parts would you want to be left out and why? Biopic? I honestly don't even know what biopic is. And to be honest, I'm not going to bother to search it right now. But if you really want a specific answer, please let me know in the comments down below. What were the longest 5 minutes you've ever experienced? Oh, that's a super easy one. Have you guys ever heard of the exercise plank? Where basically you have like your two arms like this and you're settled down there. Your whole body is like horizontal, following up with your arms and all that. People usually struggle to get even 1 minute in that. Like the best I have done, if I could remember, it was like 2 minutes and 20 seconds or something like that for a plank exercise. So I could really imagine the pain that I had for these 2 minutes and 20 seconds. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you could survive this for 5 minutes, I owe you a treat on my own, big time. Good luck with that. These are actually the longest 5 minutes that I've ever survived. It's the plank exercise. Have you ever discovered anything about yourself in the past year? Well, yeah, I've actually discovered about myself over the past 5 years, not just 1 year, no, 5 years, a whole lot about myself. One of the strongest points that I have is that in isolation, I could carry out a lot, but when I'm around people, I could be easily manipulated, unfortunately. As a result of that, I try not to be around negative people, or at least I try to be around people who suit me as a person, someone who goes with my energy, someone who does what I do, someone who knows exactly how I think and if they could match my energy, then yeah, I'll be around them. And as a result of that, I would always prefer to be alone most of the time because this is how I develop my mind. Especially that this process is incredibly slow for me, but having a slow process having is much better than having no process at all. So yes, in isolation, I tend to perform better. That's something I have discovered over myself, especially in this last year. How would you want your children's childhoods to be different from your own? Oh, that's an easy one. As a child, I always had difficulties like, yeah, mom, can I please get this? Can I get that? And all that. Usually my mother would always try to give me whatever she could, but because of our financial statements and all the issues that we had, especially when I was a child, I would say that when I grow up, I don't want my children to suffer the same way, which is exactly why I'm trying to expand right now as we speak. Because my children, I don't want them to suffer through financial issues. I don't want them to suffer through mental issues. I want them to get all the support, but I also don't want them to be arrogant in this world. So my point is, if you have a child, you don't want them to be arrogant in this world, but you also don't want them to be a pushover. The same way that you want to give them everything, but you also want to make sure that they're under control. That's how I want my children's childhood to be balanced. This is something that majority of us people we cannot get that for one reason or the other. But for me personally, I want my children to have a balanced life. What's the quickest way to get you angry? Someone who just talks without even knowing what they're saying. Like, let's say you're in an argument, maybe with a friend or something, about something which is major and something that could be life changing. If a friend basically doesn't understand what you're saying and they're just like, just forget it, it's not going to work and all that, this will quickly raise my temper up. In the end, I will still do what I want to do, but I will eliminate anyone who doesn't work with me or who just discriminates my ideas. That is one surefire way to get on my temper is simply by discriminating something that took me a very long time to work on. Have you ever hidden something from your family or friends? How long did you hide it for and why? Hid something from my family or friends? Yeah, I did. If you guys remember, I mentioned a few videos ago that I was an addict to an online video game called RuneScape. I used to play this game for some time behind my family's back. I never actually told them about it, but in the end, I eventually had to because they're still my family. When they figured it out, they were a little bit angry about it, but I actually did it for some time. I think about 2 or 3 months back then. Wasn't a very long period of time, but ever since then, I've quit it, and hopefully, I'll never get back to that unless I'm like super bored or desperate or something's wrong. How does the current generation of children differ from what children were like when you were younger? When we were young, we had toys, we had some fun. Basically, we had a life. But right now, if you go to TikTok, I'll let the trash be over there. No offense to anyone, but like TikTok's basically the way to go, and internet's the way to go, and anyone could literally be an entrepreneur at the age of 7. Like, okay, just take this for example. There's a kid called Ryan out there who's literally below 10 years old as we speak, with 22 million subscribers, and all he does is review toys, and he is making much more money in a year than some of us will ever make in our lifetime. There's a really, really big gap between how my generation of children went and how the generation that is currently going, these guys have a whole lot more opportunities. And if their parents know how to leverage it, it's going to be a very, very big deal. I'll pause this video and I'll come back when the internet is back. Apologies about what happened. My internet disconnected and I was actually recording this video on Zoom. Anyway, let's get back to our questions. How would your life change if you inherited $100,000 tomorrow? Well, first of all, I'm going to drop out of university. Second, who needs a job? Third, I will invest part of that in cryptocurrency, especially Bitcoin or Ethereum. And the other half, I will invest it in a business or something equivalent like that. Get a functional business, get something running, figure it out. And with whatever money you have left, you can have fun with that, and or actually you could keep it as a backup for the business, and as soon as you're done with everything, then just make sure that everything is running fine, then you can have some money to enjoy. And the more money your business makes for you, you could operate even more businesses, big and small ones. Eventually you could enjoy your life. So if I inherited $100,000 tomorrow, I think I know exactly what I want to do with that. What's the strangest situation you've ever found yourself in? Apart from the fact that my internet just died on that made the video a whole lot weird. I don't even know how that's going to come out like. But the strangest situation I've ever found myself in was as a kid, like, my friends would try to, like, let's just say, well, when I was above 18, that is, where I would meet girls and we would talk and all that, but then our friends would go. Back then, I would be quiet and awkward, but right now it's a whole different game where basically I just ask questions and I listen to them as they talk. But back then, my friends would just put me in awkward situations with the girls, and I just wouldn't know what to say. The girls would ask questions, I would just give them one word answers. Clearly, I wasn't the most interesting person, but I have no idea how things roll right now. What is the best thing that happened to you this week? Uh, to be honest, it was an extremely simple thing. The fact that in 1 week, a YouTuber below 100 subscribers, I went from 50 to 60 subscribers in 1 week. Like, thank you so much, guys, for actually helping me out with this little favor. I would appreciate if more of you can do the same. That was the simplest thing, and it was the best thing that happened to me this week. Apart from that, we're in a lockdown, so there's not much content that I could genuinely offer to you. Do you have a nickname? If so, who gave it to you and how did it come about? If you could choose a nickname for yourself, what would it be and why? Do I have a nickname? Yes. Who gave it to me? My mother. And how did it come about? I have no idea. You should ask my mother. My nickname was Bob. And if I could choose a nickname for myself, what would you want it to be and why? Honestly, I wouldn't want a nickname for myself. I just like my own name being Baha. I just kind of enjoy it the way that it is right now, and I would rather not be called any other names because I want Baha to be something that rings into people's minds in the future whenever they hear that name in a positive way. That is, what's the most beautiful view you've ever seen? Uh, Visually or in pictures? In pictures or like in Norway? Visually and in real life. Being here in Malaysia, in a country where temperature is always going to be the same all year round, I would say that the most beautiful view I've ever seen was the clouds. Like, just there was a time where half of my room was actually glass, so the sun would literally hit in my face every single morning. And just seeing the sun and the clouds as they cover up sometimes, or maybe at 5 or 6 a.m. when you just see the clouds in the dark as the sunrise comes up, that was the most beautiful view I've ever seen, and I'll never forget these days. How did you and your best friend or significant other, if applicable, meet? Me and my best friend, well, back in the day when I was still brand new in university, I had so many friends or acquaintances, I would say. Few friends and really few best friends. But one of them actually stuck out to me. I didn't like the guy at first, but then with time, he has proven to me that he was one of the really good people who truly understands the way I think. And he's a really good listener, so that's a big plus one for him. Hopefully, he will show up in one of my videos in the future. I can't promise anything like that, but if he's interested, I'll definitely bring him up. But we met by through friends. We met actually in a time where he was addicted to drugs and injections and all that kind of stuff and smoking. But right now he's trying to quit all of that, and I think he's doing a really good job. And we met through a friend of a friend, basically. Anyway, question 292. What are you looking forward to? What am I looking forward to? At this moment, I'm just looking forward to graduate and hopefully the day that I hit 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours on YouTube. Please, guys, help me out. It really means a lot to me. What activity makes you lose track of time? Nowadays, the only activity that makes me lose track of time is if I'm super focused on my studies to the point that sometimes I would even forget to eat. What is the most useless talent or skill you possess, and how and why did you learn it? Useless? I honestly don't have any. Even if I did, I have no idea what it is. You should ask my family members. They know me even better than I know myself. Why did I learn it? I don't even have it to answer that question. If you open the business, what type of business would it be? What would you name it? Yeah, that's an easy one. It would be a supercar manufacturer. If you guys know me, I'm pretty obsessed with supercars, hypercars, many cars, especially the company called Koenigsegg. These guys, they make some of the world's best cars. I think I mentioned that like a few times in my previous videos in this series. And if I were to open a business, I would honestly open something just to compete with Koenigsegg. And I would probably call it something in the lines of Zenith, maybe Solomon Motors. I haven't actually thought of any, or Lightning Bolt. I don't know, but it will be something that indicates that this company only makes the best of the best. That's gonna be for sure. When you were a kid, were you excited to be a grown up? What about growing up excited you? When I was a kid, I was like, when I grow up, I'm going to be an engineer, a pilot. I was super excited about the jobs. I had no interest in girls. I had no interest in anything but just playing video games and studying. And when I grew up, here I am studying engineering. Definitely not enjoying it as much as I thought that I would be. But I would say that studying engineering and learning all that stuff and just staying tense and being under pressure, this really makes life exciting in the sense that you're always wondering what's going to happen next or how you're going to do this or that. Just find this interesting to some extent. Assume you have a lot of musical talent. If you started a band, how many people would be in it and which position would you be? What would you name it? What genre will you play? Okay, I really don't have any musical talent this for a start, but if I started a band, probably 3 or 4 people. I would be the lead position because I always like being the leader in whatever I do. What would I name it? The rock stars, maybe. What genre would you play? Honestly, I have no idea. Whatever genre the YouTuber called Illenium makes in his music, I really love Illenium's music. I would do something similar. That's just my own style. When was the last time you tried something new? What was it? Did you enjoy it? Yeah, that's an easy one. Last time I tried something new was trying a Malaysian plate, I would say. Malaysian food, basically. Did I enjoy it? To some extent, I would say that I did enjoy it, maybe not that much. Kind of missed the Egyptian food, to be honest. What's something you went through that you wouldn't wish on your worst enemy? Heartbreaks and relationships. Relationships are good, but the only problem that they have is that you're literally exposing your heart, and your partner would literally want to pull away sometimes, like out of the deep blue, they'll be like, okay, let's take a break, or let's break up, or this isn't working. And you will be heavily invested in this. And the heartbreak will really, really take years before you're fully convinced that this person is no longer there. It took me 2.5 years to recover from my very first heartbreak as an 18-year-old until 21, that is. As we speak, I'm almost 24, so it doesn't matter right now anymore. But yeah, I wouldn't wish a broken relationship even for my worst enemy. When do you feel like the best version of yourself? After I work out and take a really cold shower after that. Back then in the day in university, I would always do that before university, and go to university always gave me the confidence that I was the big guy, I was muscular, strong, and an engineer. That was a lot of confidence, except that I was also very lonely. What keeps you up at night? Super easy. Binge watching YouTube videos. Guys, if you want to binge watch something, I have 88 other videos apart from this one that you could watch as we speak right now. Hopefully in the future I'll have more videos and content for you, and I hope you enjoy it. Has a piece of media, book, film, play, song, ever changed the way you thought about the world? Yes. Movies have given me a very, very false perspective of the world, especially the romantic ones. You have to chase the girl and then you gotta get her and then you live happily ever after. Basically, they were putting girls on a really high pedestal. No offense to any females that are watching this video. But yeah, they did. And just listening to online coaches like Coach Corey Wayne and whatsoever, they have really given me a reality check, which I definitely needed. So yes, and songs, I've done the same thing. Plays and books, I'm not a good reader and I haven't seen any plays. That's about it for this short video. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Thank you so much for watching this entire series. If you have made it until the end from the get-go, I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please make sure to leave a comment below, like the video, subscribe, turn on notifications, follow me on Instagram and Twitter. Without further ado, thank you so much, guys, for watching, and I'll see you in something brand new, either at home or after the lockup is done, or maybe after my exams in the next one. Peace.